Good morning. Welcome to Guerilla Sports Daily. Trusted American salary-based mortgage consultants want to help you get into a rate and lower your monthly payments. Go to trustedamerican.com to see how much they can save you today.
Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Guerilla Sports Daily. It is Wednesday, December 11th. I'm Jay Boersma, but you might not recognize me because I'm wearing glasses. And no, it is not to see better, it's to look better. No, I'm kidding. These are non-sponsored Ray-Ban Meta glasses because I'm filming myself right now because we're going to show a day in the life of a Guerilla Sports Daily employee. Person on camera, off camera, everything. So make sure to check out our socials. We're going to see everything behind the scenes. Really cool stuff. But let's get into some sports because that is why you are all watching today. We have some Avs stuff. They played yesterday. We have some Nuggets that I want to get into. A little bit of Rockies because they're losing even when they're not playing. Some football, the Broncos getting closer and closer to the playoffs for the first time since 2015. The CU Buffs playing a bowl game. The CSU Rams playing a bowl game. And then we got some national news. Not a lot of international stuff, but you know I'm going to talk about soccer again, of course. But let's start with some Colorado Avalanche. They played yesterday against the Pittsburgh Penguins. It was their last game on a 5-game road trip. And they won the game 6-2, ending their road trip with 4 wins and 1 loss. And they're doing it with new goalies. A whole lot has changed with the Avalanche in the last 10 days, a week, 2 weeks, something in there. The goaltending has been completely overhauled. They just traded Mackenzie Blackwood, but he's not playing yet. They traded him for Alexander Georgiev, of course. But in that trade was also Giovanni Smith from the San Jose Sharks and Nikolai Kovalenko from the Avs, who were now missing. Let's turn that camera off. Mackenzie Blackwood wasn't playing yet. Giovanni Smith was playing yesterday. I'll talk a little bit more about him. But the other goalie who came in just over a week ago for Justus Annunen from the Nashville Predators, Scott Wedgwood, he was in net yesterday. And you can see right away that we're getting closer to the old Avs. The Avs that play with confidence, the Avs that trust each other. You can see that on the... Let me just take these off. Whew. Wow, that's how good you guys look. Wow. The Avs are playing with so much more confidence right now, and you see that right away. You saw that in the last 2 games. You saw that yesterday for sure. But let's get into these trades a little bit. It started with Justus Annunen, the backup goalie behind Alexander Georgiev, who was traded for Scott Wedgwood, like I said, just over a week ago. Annunen was not the problem, but something needed to change, and they wanted to, I think, send a message to Georgiev. Things might also not have been formalized fully yet with a Georgiev trade, and they wanted to do something. So Annunen was gone. Scott Wedgwood came in, and you felt this little bit of a relief in the team, but it wasn't enough. And 2 days ago, they also traded Georgiev away, which was the big thing that always needed to happen. Like I said, in that trade, they got Giovanni Smith, a decent right winger. He played yesterday. He was hard on the forecheck, but he also got a penalty right away for tripping. And they lost Kovalenko, a guy who played in the KHL for a long time. Evan Rowell, friend of the show. He followed Kovalenko for a long time in the KHL. He finally came to the Avs. He was good. He was not great, but it was his first few games in the NHL. He did good, but there were some other players who did even better. Ivan, for example. So the loss of Kovalenko can be softened by other players who can jump into his spot, which is what is happening. So 2 new goalies. It's a big win for the Avs, obviously the 2 goalies, but it was also a win for the other teams. The San Jose Sharks, for example, are in a horrible spot right now. One of their best players was Mackenzie Blackwood, the goalie that was now traded to the Avs. But what they got back for him was Georgiev, a goalie who can be really good, but just couldn't perform under the pressure. They hope that he can get some confidence back in his game with a lower performing team. And they got Nikolai Kovalenko, who I just mentioned, has a huge potential in the NHL, wasn't needed in the Avs organization, but could definitely help the San Jose Sharks. That is what the media in San Jose are talking about right now. Let's get into the game yesterday. A 6-2 win, like I said, it felt a lot like the Avs are back to their old selves. Nathan MacKinnon had 5 points yesterday. Mikko Rantanen had a hat trick yesterday. Valeri Nichushkin scored. Arturi Lehkonen scored. It was great overall. Cale Makar with a beautiful assist to, I believe it was the Mikko Rantanen goal. They are now 17-13. They're back in a playoff spot. There's still a lot that needs to happen, but I do feel like the way they're playing now, especially in the last few games, now with the confidence of having good goalies in the net, I think if they keep this lineup, there's going to be a lot of good things happening this season. They're going to make the playoffs, and they might even have a good run at it. We'll see. There's still a lot that needs to happen for them to actually get into that spot, but if they play like this, they'll be okay. Then onto a team that's not so okay, the Denver Nuggets. They have some time off. From Sunday to next Friday, they have no games. They won their game Sunday against the Hawks with 141 points, which means they're going to have a win streak for 5 days. That's huge for the Nuggets this season. In all seriousness, yes, they won against the Hawks, 141 games. The day before, they lost against the worst performing team in the NBA, the Wizards. And I know that everyone's talking about Jamal Murray being a bad influence on the team right now, not doing his part. But he didn't play against the Wizards, for example. He also didn't play against the Hawks. They played great. But I think this is a bigger problem within the team of just losing cohesion between the players. Jamal Murray is a big factor in that. And I want to mention a little bit, or I want to talk a little bit more about that. But there's definitely more to this team. The only guy that keeps performing is Nikola Jokic. In an interview after the game against the Wizards, I believe, he even said, maybe we should just dock the pay of some of these players. Maybe we should just bench them to keep them motivated again. I mean, that's what they probably do in Serbia. I'm afraid it's not going to work like that here in the NBA. You can't just dock players a salary. But these players definitely need something to get back at it. But hey, a 5-day win streak, that's not too bad. About Jamal Murray, though, I know a lot of people are talking about him. I want to keep this short. I know that what I'm saying doesn't mean too much in the grand scheme of the real analysts that are on top of this every single day. But I cannot believe that Jamal Murray got a max contract this summer. If you saw how he was playing after they won that ring, he hasn't been that good since. How do you give someone a max contract? I feel like this is, I think I told Jesse this 2 days ago. I feel like what they're trying to do is the same as a marriage that doesn't work, and they're choosing to have a kid to save the marriage. This feels like that same kind of thing. Like, if we just give him more money, if we give him a max contract, if he's stuck with us, he might play better for us. Well, you see now that that's not working. I think it's been a huge mistake that they did that. And It's different from, for example, what the Colorado Avalanche have been doing. After they won the Stanley Cup in 2022, Nazem Kadri wanted a way bigger contract, and the Avs were like, we love what you did for us. You are well loved in Colorado, but we're not going to give you that much money because we don't believe that you are worth that much. Then he moved on. He's not playing so well in any of the other teams that he's been playing with. And the Avs have been doing this more. Last year, they brought in Thomas Tatar, Ryan Johansson for a few months. It didn't work out, so they let them go. The Avs are really good at admitting that they made a mistake or just moving on from a financial business perspective. And I feel like the Nuggets are lacking that. I feel like the Nuggets are holding on to what could be or what could have been and hoping that it would one day reignite that spark in some players. Well, it's not working for Murray. I don't know if we should move on from Murray right now. I don't know if he should be traded. I know that on off court, they've been talking about that. Brandon Cristal and Liv Moods have been discussing the idea of trading him. You might be in too deep already to do that now. But there's this economic theory, which is called the sunk cost fallacy. The longer you wait to just accept your losses, the bigger those losses are going to be. And that could very well be the case for Jamal Murray. The longer you think that he might turn things around, the longer you might hold yourself back. He's done great things for the Nuggets, winning them a ring, but that doesn't mean that he should still be on the team if he's not performing. Good thing that there's another team in Colorado that can still steal the shine of being a worse contender, the Rockies. Oh yeah, they are losing without playing. The Rockies were so bad last year that they had a 22.5% chance of getting the #1 draft pick in the 2025 MLB draft. That draft, or the picking of drafts, or the assigning of draft pick numbers, I have no idea how you say that, but that thing, the assigning of draft pick numbers, happened yesterday. They came out 4th. They got the 4th draft pick after the Washington Nationals, the LA Angels, and the Seattle Mariners. I didn't think it could be worse. It can be worse because the Miami Marlins also had a 22.5% chance of getting the #1 draft pick. They get the #7. That is even worse. But we're not looking at Miami. We're looking at Colorado. I feel like in this league, the MLB, you have to have money to do well. And you see that now with the New York Mets giving Juan Soto a $765 million contract for the next 15 years. You need money to perform in this league. Not draft picks, because you see now that even if you have the highest chance of getting a good pick, you still might not get it. And the owners of the Rockies, they should know this, right? I shouldn't be the one to tell them that, but maybe they need another wake-up call that this is not going to work, and something needs to change with this Rockies team. Moving on to a team that has done a lot better lately, the Denver Broncos. Can you believe that the Broncos are the ones carrying Colorado sports now? Actually, we could say that last week. Now with the Avs performing the way they are, might be two teams, the Broncos and the Avs. Anyways, the Broncos, they had a bye week, so they were probably chilling on the beach somewhere. But I know they came back fired up on Monday. There's something to fight for this year. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2015. That is 9 years ago when they won the Super Bowl. After that, it's been downhill until this season, and they suddenly start playing way better with, of course, the quarterback Bo Nix. Next Sunday, they're playing the Indiana Colts, a contender for that playoff spot. If they win, their chances go up to 89%. Right now, they're at 73%. But if they lose, they go down to 47%. It's basically, it's very easy. They have 4 more games to play. in the regular season. They need to win 2 of those, and the Colts should be one of those easier opponents to beat. So they need to win that next game against the Colts, and we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be in those playoffs for the first time in 9 years. That is huge. That is big. And I feel like it's all because of Bo Nix and the belief in Sean Payton's system, the continuing belief, because the last few years haven't been too good. The players kept believing. Sean Payton got his quarterback that he wanted, that plays his style of football, and look where it brought them. I want to talk a little bit more about some other football at the college level, starting with the CU Buffs. They will be playing the Alamo Bowl against BYU. The Buffs have only played 3 bowl games in the last 17 years, and all of those were Alamo Bowl games. One in 2016, one in 2020, now one in 2024. I guess they have something with presidential election years. They lost both of those in 2016 and 2020, so it's not a positive run that they're having here. But with everything that Deion Sanders has done for them in the last 2 years, I could see this being a very interesting year. But I want to talk about something. The CSU Rams are also playing a bowl game. And last week I talked about how I don't understand college football fully yet. I've grown to learn a whole lot about American sports. As you might know, I'm from the Netherlands, moved here 3.5 years ago. I understand football rules. I understand playoffs, all of that. But what are bowl games? I talked about this last week. I still don't have all the answers, but somehow you guys made it worse, because the CSU Rams are playing in the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. How can I take this whole thing seriously? The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. I love Snoop Dogg. I don't get it. But it is their first bowl game for the CSU Rams since 2017. So let's celebrate. Let's be happy. That is a big feat. Both big football programs in Colorado, both in bowl games. That is something to be celebrated. They both will be played on December 28th. CSU at 2:30 and CU at 5:30. So you know what to do in that day. It's just after Christmas. I don't know how everything works here in America with getting time off, but you should have that day off to watch some good football. And if you can't, just find a way. Find a way. In other news, going back to the CU Buffs for a little bit, Travis Hunter has been officially nominated for the Heisman Trophy. Who would have thunk? We will hear on Saturday if he wins that trophy. Obviously, people here in Colorado are going to say that he needs to win. I have to say, I haven't seen enough of either Travis Hunter or Jonty, is what his name, Ashton Jonty from Boise State. So I can't say who is better or who's worse. But if you look at the stats, Travis Hunter has done some incredible things that have never been done before. But someone else has some other ideas.
Man, I don't want this hate that I've been getting from all these Colorado people. I love Colorado. Love everything about Colorado. I live in Colorado. But I gotta go Genty. I just feel like I hate on Travis Hunter. What he's done is amazing. Being able to play both sides of the ball at that level. Like you said, he could play 4 different positions on the team. But what Genty's done for this Boise State, there would be no national championship talk if it wasn't for this running back. Boise State would be irrelevant without this quarterback. Without this running back. He's truly he's a game changer for them. And what he's done his college football season, I hate, like, they're both two very good players, but he is the bona fide best back in college football right now. And the numbers he put up, I feel like you gotta give him the edge for the Heisman. So I gotta go Genty for the Heisman Trophy winner.
I don't think anybody's gonna be mad at you for that one.
I do think that some people are going to be mad at you. We posted this yesterday. The episode I might have to do some work on that. No, actually, no. The episode came online at 7 a.m. this morning, so you can check that right after this show. People are already mad at him for saying that Jonty should win. Shelby Harris, former Bronco, now with the Cleveland Browns, last week was not so fond of Bo Nix, said he wasn't the Rookie of the Year or wasn't deserving of Rookie of the Year. Now he says that Travis Hunter shouldn't win the Heisman Trophy. I feel like he does have something against Colorado, but with this one, with this pick, I get it more. It's an opinion that he can back up. I don't feel like there's any hate from him towards anything in Colorado or towards Travis Hunter. This is just what he sees on the field. I respect him for it. I commend him for it. Even though he lives in Colorado, he's still sticking with what he wants to, what he believes in. So I think it's great. It's another great episode as well of Where the Harrises. Like I said, it's on our YouTube channel right now. Check it out after this show. We have about 10 more minutes of this show, and then you can go right into that episode. Moving on to a little bit of national news. Formula One, they've been on the rise in the U.S. In the last few years. Ever since Drive to Survive, the documentary series aired on Netflix that started in 2019, you've seen the numbers go up and up and up of viewership in the U.S. Now they also have 3 Grand Prix in the U.S., Austin, Circuit of the Americas, Miami, and of course Las Vegas, the big one. But it's going to be even more exciting because an American team is going to be joining the grid in 2026. GM will, General Motors will join the Formula One grid with F1 Cadillac. I mean, the US has been a major car manufacturer forever. Like, the US is known for its incredible and great cars. It's crazy that they've been in Formula One, but never with a manufacturer. There have been American teams. Right now, Haas is even an American team with Gene Haas, or partly American. But that's not the same as having a car manufacturer build a Formula One car and joining the grid. What's also cool about this is Formula One since 2015 has had 20 drivers in 10 teams. So 2 drivers per team, 20 drivers, 20 seats that need to be filled, with a lot of drivers that want those seats. Every year, there's a lot of discussion of who should get which seat, because there's only so few. But this team F1 Cadillac isn't going to take over from another team. They're going to expand. There's going to be 22 drivers and 11 teams, which is, in my opinion, really cool because you have more drivers that get the opportunity to drive in Formula One. There's so much talent out there, and I always feel bad for drivers having to leave because they found some other guy to drive for them. It's always debatable if that even is a better driver or if they just bring in more money for the team, because that is how Formula One works. It's all about the money. Now we have some more drivers. I love that. And an American car manufacturer, right? Hold on. They will be driving with Ferrari engines? Yep, that's right. Formula One Cadillac will be driving with Ferrari engines because they can't get their own ready set up in time for 2026 yet. It's not weird that they just buy components for their cars from different manufacturers. There's a lot of teams like that, but usually they are teams that aren't manufacturers themselves, like Red Bull, Haas, like I just mentioned, Williams. Of course, they have to buy their engine from somewhere. It usually doesn't happen where a car manufacturer has a Formula One car and needs another manufacturer's engine. And it's a little sad, right? Don't you want to be proud of your American, like the Americans taking over Formula One? Well, not quite exactly yet. I do have to say, Formula One is so intricate. Those engines are literally, if you look at those, they're the future. They're so futuristic. A lot of things that are being built in Formula One cars eventually end up in regular cars decades later sometimes. These are robust. This stuff is incredible. So I get why you can't just suddenly build a new Formula One engine. There's so much to it, and 2026 is around the corner. It's just over a year from now when this car needs to be ready. So I get it. I do hope that eventually they start building their own engine, though, because wouldn't that be way cooler? And also, with competition and stuff, Ferrari has their own team in Formula One as well. There's always this feeling, because this has happened before, where Red Bull had an engine from a manufacturer that is also on the grid themselves. Why wouldn't they just make that engine that they sell a little worse than the engine that they're using themselves? There's always that competition component as well. So hopefully in the near future, Cadillac can build their own engine for their Formula One car. But right now, 2026, they're joining with the Ferrari engine. And still, I'm very, very excited to see how 22 drivers on the grid will do and how this new team will do with all the competition that's already there. Really cool stuff. On to another sport that is also thriving in the US, soccer. Of course, I got to talk about a little bit of soccer. We have 3.5 minutes left to go, so I'll talk about it a little faster. The MLS has the highest attendance, or the second highest attendance in the world after the English Premier League. Higher than the Italian Serie A, higher than the Spanish Liga, La Liga. That is huge. Of course, the US is a big, big country. If you look at Spain or Italy, it's way easier to go to another team that's not even close to you and fill their stadium and leave your own stadium a little emptier. If your team is playing in the MLS, that is your team. There's nowhere else to go. There's nothing else to support. But still, it does show that people in the US do like soccer and they're into it. I believe this is Atlanta United. I'm not sure, but this looks like the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Yeah, that's the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Atlanta United is one of those teams that is doing so well with their supporters. The Colorado Rapids can definitely learn some from that. But hey, they're good playing this year. Making the playoffs will definitely help that as well. But the MLS overall, the second highest attendance in the world. That is something we should be proud of, and that is something that we should build on here in the US with soccer. Another thing that can help that is the other story I want to talk about. Christian Pulisic, very quickly. He is Captain America, is what they call him, the best US soccer player ever. I think we could say that now with certainty. I think he's like 27 years old, plays in Italy. He has his own documentary series now on Paramount Plus. I do feel like every athlete gets their own documentary now. Like I said, he is the best US soccer player ever, but in the grand scheme of world soccer, he's not that big. But I get it. I get why they want to show this guy's life a little bit. The documentary gets into also like how US soccer is viewed and US soccer players are viewed in the rest of the world, especially in Europe. There's a lot of disdain against US soccer, a lot of bias against US soccer players. It's an interesting watch because I think this will completely flip in the next 10 years. And US soccer will be taken so much more seriously because of stuff like this, because of the high attendance numbers, but also because of the level of players that now break through in Europe as well. You got the best right back in the league right now, in the Premier League right now, is an American. You got a great right backer in the Netherlands, actually, and a great striker. You have Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie playing in Italy, taking over. US soccer is definitely on the rise, and it's interesting to see how Europeans are still viewing US soccer in that documentary, combined with how Christian Pulisic, the shy guy, has to take on this role of the leader of US soccer. So definitely a recommendation to watch that. And that is the last thing I wanted to talk about today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, check out the new episode of Where the Harris Is online on YouTube. We will have another off-field a little bit differently today, airing at 5 p.m. We got Nate Jackson talking to Matt Smith about CU Buffs once again, and we are hearing from BK at Broncos practice. So make sure to watch all our stuff on YouTube, Twitter, X, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky every now and then. Thank you guys for watching.